Good afternoon, morning, wherever it is for everybody. I'm glad for you to see me as an old Louisiana chef used to say on his PBS shows. Glad you all can be able to make it today. So let me just go through and say some howdy doodies to those who are participants right now. We have Audra Meyer, Jeff Kane, Joe Haney. We also had Cosmic come in, Zoltan. Welcome, everybody. You can see that I have a parrot coming out of my head. And so we'll bring on our special guest in a little bit. So hello, Audra Meyer. If I forget to say hello to you, I will come back to you a little bit later and say hello. So today's special guest is the author and the creator of the story of the Adventures of Nalda. So let me bring on our special guest. Some of you know this woman if you've seen her in other streams. But if you only come to my stream, which I highly doubt that, you may not know who she is. So let's bring on our special guest. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning or afternoon. It's afternoon for you and it's morning for us here in California. Thank you for having me.
So yes, I'm in Peru. It's 12 noon right now. Our special guest, and you can see the reflection of our StreamYard in her glasses.
Well, it's going to stay there. You're frozen. So perhaps I'm here by myself. I'm not really sure how this works.
Okay, so here it comes. Here it comes. Hi, Amisa. So I don't know, maybe Starlink had a hiccup. So this is Renee Mazerow, my wife, the brains behind Nalda here, and the parrot coming on my head. So we will have Renee talk about, well, I'll just go ahead and ask her about how you came up with this story. What precipitated it? Why did you come up with, and you can talk to us about a little bit about the story of Nalda herself.
Okay, so one of the things that we've been very fortunate at in South American Peru is there is another organization that is similar to us in that it's the Manatee Rescue Center, and it's called the Manatee Rescue Center in Amazon Forever. And the founder of that organization is working really hard. They rescue manatees that have been abandoned, baby manatees that have been abandoned or hurt, and also adult manatees that may have been hurt by a boat, and they rehabilitate them and reintroduce them back into the wild. But they also purchase land so that they can restore and educate about the Amazon rainforest. And they had been doing this for several years before ARCOF came into being. So I met with Javier, who is the founder of the Manatee Rescue Center. And one of the things that he shared with us was that when they started doing education in the schools, they did it the traditional way, and it had no impact. The kids didn't care. And we have to remember that in Peru, in this part of the world, there are a lot of poor people, and they're more concerned with putting food on the table than thinking about the environment or what's going to happen tomorrow. So he created a character called Wayo, and Wayo is the grandson of the Arbabuelo. So we collaborated, and he gave me permission.
Who's the Arbabuelo?
Oh, the Arbabuelo. So I was going to get to that. So let me go in order. Okay. So we collaborated, and he gave me permission to use the Arbabuelo and Wayo. Okay. So the backstory of the Arbabuelo is Arbabuelo stands for grandfather tree. And the story that they started and they created is that the Amazon rainforest was created by the tree people thousands and thousands of years ago. And the leader of the tree people was the Arbabuelo. And he agreed to allow the humans to be a part of the rainforest. But when he saw what was happening, he created his son Wyo. And then Wyo came into being to start educating children. And Wyo is a cute little guy. He's in our book. I'm not sure if we have a color picture of it. Oh, we don't have a color picture of him right here, but he's in the book right there. I think you guys can see that.
He's a furry yellow creature.
Yeah, he's yellow and he has green leaves on his head. So I met with Javier and he gave me permission. I needed to have a jumping point to tie our character into Wyo, because we wanted our efforts to be synergistic and to match each other. So our story starts with many thousands of years ago. The River King, who is a pink dolphin, meets with the arborbuelo. Now, the reason I picked the pink dolphin is because it's in the river. It's associated with water. We're looking at fish. And it is a common myth amongst the indigenous tribes of the Amazon rainforest that the pink river dolphin has magic and can turn into a human being. So our story starts with the arborbuelo meeting with the River King, and he is sharing with the River King that he's very worried because the tree people are getting ready to do their long sleep. And although he has spoken with the humans to take care of the forest, he's worried that they will not. Knowing that the pink river dolphins have magic and can turn into human beings, he's asking for help and will they keep an eye on the forest. And so they agree to meet in 1 month's time. The River King says, I'm too old to do it, but I'm going to talk to my children. And he leaves. The problem is the River King is killed in a boating accident and the message is never sent. So now, hundreds of years later, we have a pink dolphin playing in the river, footloose, fancy free, and trying to decide what she's going to do with her life when she comes across Wyo. And Wyo is sitting on the river's edge and he's crying. So he educates her about what's going on with the environment. She decides, she swims away that night, and she decides that it's time for her to do something, to do more. And she sees a fire on the other side of the river, a campfire. Normally, she would have just avoided it, but she decides to check it out, and she comes across a gang of bird poachers. And they have and the parrots and the macaw parrots and a lot of the birds in South America are poached because they're valuable and they can be sold on the black market. So he has cages full of birds, and he has this one particular bird that's bigger than the rest, and his coloring's a little bit different. And he's shaking him in the cage, and she's listening to all this. And the man gets very frustrated because he keeps saying, I know you can talk, and the bird won't talk. And he throws the cage down, hurting the bird, and then he walks into the forest. So she changes into her little girl form. And I'm not going to tell you all the story, but she ends up rescuing the parrot. They rescue all the rest of the birds. And that parrot is Eduardo, who you can see above Anthony's head. His red coloring on the wings marks him as a descendant of Maximilian, and that's what gives him the magic to talk. And so the two of them together have begun their adventures. And the idea is that we're taking Nalda and Eduardo into the schools, and we're working with fifth graders and sixth graders and some fourth graders. And we bring them books that we've had translated into Spanish. Then we do an activity with the kids. They like the activities in the back of the book. And we talk about how important it is to not put trash in the river and why the environment is so important. And we're beginning to make some progress. So it's very exciting. Now, I must tell you, we had a gentleman who still follows up. His name is Alexander Williamson. And
everybody knows him. The secret history of our aquarium, that's the same Alexander Williamson.
Okay. So Alex is by trade an graphic artist. So I need to give him credit because he emailed me and said, this is what I do for my background. Is there anything you might need me for? And I said, well, coincidentally, I need someone to help me create this. We call it an activity book because it has the story, but it has lots of pictures the kids can color. It also has puzzles and things for them to do. So it's really an activity book. And so Alex took this on and we worked on this together. And so I had an idea of what I wanted Nalda to look like, And he did several. He said, "It's okay. You can tell me if you don't like it." He did several iterations until we got it where we wanted. But he was very instrumental in us creating our character. So Nalda has become our mascot. How I picked her name is I looked up names in Spanish, and I was looking for a name that meant strength. And in Spanish, Nalda means strength. And then Eduardo, I just thought it went well with a direct descendant of Maximilian in the macaw parrot line. So what else can I tell you?
Well, how is it going in the schools? I mean,
Okay.
What has been reported back to you by our resident director?
Okay, so we've gone to 2 schools, one in the San Juan Bautista province, which is a little bit more affluent, and then one in Belen. And Belen is the poorer area of Iquitos. The kids, it was, I'm going to be honest with you, and looking at the pictures and in talking with Carlos, I'm not sure who was more excited because Carlos has his undergrad students go with him, and they will do part of the story, and each one will play a different character. And so I turned that off. Sorry, you guys. So they go out, they do some activities from the books, they talk about the story, and each person, they'll read it and they'll do the one will be the bad man that captured the bird, and they'll talk, and the kids really enjoy it. We've had so many pictures, you can see them looking through the book, and we'll give them colored pencils too, because they often don't get those types of things. So they have a colored pencil, they can start coloring in things in the book, they can start doing the puzzles, but it's been very well received. And in fact, this summer, Carlos and I are talking about doing an activity with Nalda at the front of it for the children in Quistacocha. And Quistacocha is a poorer area, and it's a little bit farther out of the main city. And so we're going to be working with those kids directly and seeing how that goes. But so far, it's been well received. We're able to get it printed in Iquitos in Spanish. And so that's better for us. It fits the pages a little bit different because they use a little bit different.
They use
A4, yeah. And then we do, but it's going well. And we will also, I want to thank the Jim Smith Fund, because I wrote a grant to the Jim Smith Fund, the Ohio Cichlid Association, and we were awarded the grant, and that gave me the finances I had written the story, but we were able to pay Alex a little bit of money and then get the initial printing done. And so we took all the books down to South America originally, and then we found a printer down there who's continued to print them for us.
Okay. Are there any other plans to have a second edition or a continuation of
yes.
the story?
Good question. So yes, because this is the adventures, right, of Nalda and Eduardo. So their next adventure, I've started outlining it, is going to be the rescue. It's going to have 2 parts. The first part is the story is going to start with Eduardo and Nalda. They're kind of hiding in the bushes, but they're watching all these kids at a school. And because she's never seen kids in a school, she doesn't see how that works. And she's quite perplexed by it, but she's also quite interested because she wants to meet other kids that are like her. And even though she's a dolphin, but she still wants to meet other kids because she's still, she's about 10 years old, right? And so that's where the story starts. But as the story progresses, they end up coming across an arapaima that they're mouth breeders, and they also are air breathers. So after right, Anthony? Because I've researched this.
Yeah, they incubate the young in their mouths, yes.
Okay, so after they're born, they need to get them up to the surface to get the air, or the babies will die. Well, the mother has gotten entrapped in an old net and some fishing line and stuff in the river that's just been thrown in there as trash. So it's up to Nalda and Eduardo to get her out and save her, because they also arowanas are mated pairs, right?
Arapaima, yes.
Yeah, Arapimas. Okay. They're mated pairs. So the husband or the male comes looking for help, and that's how it comes across Nalda and Eduardo. And so the story will be the rescue, and it'll be just in the nick of time to get those babies to the surface so they survive. And it also will be her learning about schools and trying to teach the children there about why we put trash in a trash can and not in the river.
So Rico Stan, the face on my shirt that you got there in California. I said I love one of the characters is Eduardo, not Eduardo master breeding from Florida. It'd be awesome to see the character even look like a younger version of our Eduardo. Then that's Eduardo, the one of the YouTubers. So it's
okay. So he's not a bird.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
So Rico Stan, he's not a bird, right? Okay.
No.
Well, we have
Red
some
Laser
puzzles.
says, yeah. Ironically, Eduardo does know how to talk. He talks a lot. So, you plan to come to Peru?
Yes, I will be coming down to Peru in 2 days. I should be there by Friday. I am bringing with me, if anyone can see what's kind of a little bit behind me, I will have 5 bags of supplies. One is actually just a big net. Anthony needs a decent net, down there. But when I'm there, part of what I will be working on is setting up our gift shop that's a part of the aquarium. I've been working on the second story I have to get the story written. And then, of course, I need to contact Alex and see where he is, if his life will accommodate my needs. And then we're also going to be we'll be doing some promotional work. And then I'm also contacting a lot of Peruvian companies looking for sponsorship to help keep supporting the aquarium. So for everyone that's on here, I recognize some of your names because I know you're donors for us. Thank you. We truly appreciate you and everything that you do, and we appreciate your generosity. So thank you so much.
Fernando's here. Just to say hi.
Oh, it's with you, Fernando?
Well, no, he's on the live stream. He's in the office right now.
Oh, is he?
He's listening.
Hola, Fernando.
So, you have anything else you'd like to talk to us about in terms of, what has ARCOF been doing? Who's recently donated to us? Since you're the person that controls all our money and tells me what I can and can't spend on, and we recently got some money from a group. You want to talk about that?
So we, for all of you who follow us, if you haven't checked your email and you're in our database, you would have gotten an email yesterday with some updates, and I sent out our annual report for 2022, so you can also see what's going on with the research center. But on June 3rd, the Sacramento Aquarium Association had their first, they call it fin dip.
Fin dig.
Fin dig. Sorry.
Fin dig.
Fin dig. Sorry. Luke, if you're watching this, I apologize.
Luke is in the audience. Yes.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, Luke. So it's Fin Dig 2023. And then was the first of an annual event that SAS is going to be hosting. So they did a fundraiser. They did a rare fish auction. Not that the fish were extremely rare, but they're harder to find in the hobby is what that stood for. And the group called Babes in the Cichlid Hobby also helped do the auction. And so between the Sacramento Aquarium Association and
Society, not association.
It's society? It's SAS?
Yeah, SAS.
Oh, it is SAS. Society. I'm sorry. It is SAS. I'm sorry. Well, you guys are going to kill me. And you're making me nervous, so stop it.
Okay, sorry. Okay. I'll turn my camera off.
Between their efforts, they raised $1,330 that they are donating to ARCOF. And so we are extremely thankful. And it really helps us. There are so many clubs across the country and groups like Fish Fam. Last December, it's the very beginning of the month, or the end of November, Fish Fam did an auction online, and they were able to raise the money that we needed to have the annual Christmas party for all the village children. And it makes such a difference for these kids because it's the only Christmas they have, and it's the only gift they're going to get. And these are not real expensive gifts; they're small gifts. We have a clown. They have cake and punch, and every child gets a gift, but it's a big deal, and it means a lot to these kids. So organizations like that, like the Sacramento Aquarium Society, Babes in the Cichlid Hobby, all of you help us, and we appreciate it so much. And for all the people who donate individually, we do appreciate you as well.
So you're getting a lot of comments about people wanting to order the Fin Dip T-shirt now.
That looks good. If Luke's on there, I'd bring him up and let him, plug it.
No, Renee, you didn't hear what I said. The Fin Dip, D-I-P.
Oh, dip instead of dig. Oh,
they're all wanting the Fin Dip shirt. Yep.
I think in my email I put dip.
Did you?
I don't know. I'm having a heart attack here. I'm going to look. I cannot tell you how stressed out I am about this.
Luke says the new logo will be a fish being dipped into the sugar, so it'll be a Fin Dip shirt.
Luke is saying that. Oh my God.
I'm sure you did dig. I'm sure you did dig. So don't worry about it.
I did Fin dig. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, Luke, I am so sorry.
No, Luke thinks it's funny too.
Okay. Well, I'm here for your entertainment.
You guys thought I was funny. My wife's even funnier. Hey, Evan, how's it going? Evan's here today too on live. Evan and Sarah will be here on Friday as well. He's one of my students at SOCA that will be here for a little over 2 months to do an internship. So, in a couple of weeks, when maybe all the interns get here, we'll have them on a live stream for you guys to talk with them about what a nice guy I am, and how I put them to work digging ditches and things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have talked about doing at the Research Center for a long time, and we weren't really sure how to go about it, was having an opportunity for high schools to bring down students to do a week or so at the Research Center and to be a part of the aquarium. So we do have a student coming down with me, actually, who is a sophomore in high school, and this will be our experiment. His parents have given me, he's under my control. They have given me full authority. So the whole issue has been, and why we have not done high school students in the past, is because of their age. And what if something happened? Who has the right to medical or that type of thing? But we know as parents, and this is going to be a little bit of an experiment for us to see how it works with students who are a little bit younger. In the past, we've only had college students. We also have a gentleman coming from the UK this summer, right?
Who knows?
We haven't heard.
I haven't heard in a month from him since the last time I emailed him. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we may have a student coming from the UK. We're not sure. Yeah. But we do have a group that supports and promotes ARCOF in the UK as well, and that's starting to gain some traction. And as many of you may know, just from our newsletters and other things, we actually have people who are a part of our organization and follow us around the world. So we have some folks in Europe, including the British Isles. We have some folks in Canada, and we have some people in South America and the African continent, South Africa, I believe there. And there's one other country in Africa that we have someone who follows us. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. So that's nice that we have such a broad reach. And we appreciate, again, everyone that follows us. But we get a lot of good feedback from these folks telling us what's going on. So the UK
Joe Haney, who is in the UK, wants to know who are the UK group.
So Joe, it's OS Aquatics, and it's Tim Haywood.
Yep. So yeah, he has OS Aquatics and a couple other. What else is he? It's what's his name, Renee? Now I forgot.
Tim?
Yeah, Tim.
Yeah. And there's the Seahorse Trust that we've talked to. So one of the exhibits in the aquarium is going to be seahorses because they are exploited. And primarily the exploitation occurs from the Asian community because it's part of the historical
traditional medicine.
Thank you. I can think of the word. Yeah, traditional Chinese medicine. Western medicine will tell you that there is no medicinal value in a seahorse. And so there's a lot of work going on to educate and stop the exploitation. So we have actually, is our baby still alive?
No, he died.
Oh, darn. We have a mated pair of seahorses that we took care of in our aquarium here at home for 6 months, 7 months before we took them down. And the male had babies right when he got there. And it's unfortunate because it's really hard. We don't have the proper equipment yet to be raising seahorse babies. But he had 3, and we were hoping that one of them lasted for more than a week, right? 2 weeks.
About 10 days, yeah. About 10 days. Yeah.
So we'll learn. And Tim actually is going to help us with that. He knows quite a bit about seahorses.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Joe. Joe Haney, right? That's the gentleman?
Yep.
Joe, Tim just emailed us. We were going to attend Telford.
Aqua in Telford.
It's called Aqua Telford 2023. That's what it was supposed to be. Aqua Telford 2023. Yeah. But we just heard it got canceled. Have you heard anything about it maybe being rescheduled?
Most people say you don't want to go to Telford because Telford's not an exciting town.
Well, it was for the conference.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you were going to ask me something else?
And now I forgot after that awkward Telford.
I was trying to say Aqua Telford.
So this is how it is at home. We banter like this at home anyway. Or shall I say I make fun of her at home all the time anyway.
True.
Yeah.
I think you were reading something off your chat and you were going to ask me.
I don't know. I'm not sure now. I'm not sure. A question I always often get from people is that, how did you convince your wife to do this?
Oh, so
this is not an easy task that we've set out to do, and how did I convince you?
So when Anthony first talked to me about what he wanted to do, so I don't know if he shared with you what my background is, but I work in healthcare. And
you used to work in healthcare.
I used to work in healthcare. I'm wrapping things up because I'm trying to retire. But at the time when Anthony was looking at developing the research center, I told him I was behind it and I would support it, but I didn't have, because I was a senior director for neurosciences and cardiovascular. For the cardiovascular and neurosciences service lines. And anyone that may be on this stream that works in healthcare will tell you, it's just a really busy job. So I had told him that I would help him and want to help him after I retired. So I tried to retire. This
is the third time she's retired.
Yes, this is the third time I've retired because my old boss has called me back twice. And truthfully, as many of you know, Anthony and I are firmly behind both financially and emotionally and philosophically behind the research center.
And physically.
And physically, yes.
Yeah.
I went down with him in 2018 in February, and we were staying. He would rent a room at that time because he was there for a couple of months, and he did not have to teach an intercession class that year.
And that was the year I took my sabbatical.
That's right. You were on your sabbatical because there was some reason why you were off longer, and I can't remember what it was. And so I started watching everything that was going on, and being somebody who is used to building and programs and putting in labs, and basically it's a skill set that I have. So I asked him, I said, but I'm going to tell you a better story. But I asked him, I said, do you want me to help? And he said, yes. I said, okay, well, the first thing you need to do is, and I tortured him for a week. I said, we have to have a budget, and we need to know what's the mission. What's your mission? What's your vision? What's your values? What's the organization all about? What does it need? And so that was the beginning of him bringing me in. And I think I do believe in it. I believe in it 100%. And for me, what I get excited about is building programs and building things, programs, structures, whatever it is that make a difference. And I think that's why I work in healthcare. But the environment is just as important to us as healthcare is to us. And so it's easy for me to support this. And plus, it's something that we're doing together, and we both believe in it, and we're both committed. But
let me tell them this, and this is from the bottom of my heart. There's no way the research center would be at this point if it wasn't for Renee. I mean, she keeps us on task. She, sets the limits in terms of budget, and it's just, she really added greatly to two people who just study fish. We didn't know about, anything about structure, what we need to do to, for just everything, so I know what story you're going to tell, and go ahead and tell the story.
So when we were doing our strategic plan, we really had a hard time deciding what should we build first, the dorm rooms or the aquarium. They're both a part of the plan. We decided on the dorm rooms because we thought if anybody was wanting to come out there and do research and work, which is a big part of what the research center is all about, they would need some place to stay. So we built the dorm rooms first. And until they were built,
only the first floor, not the second floor.
Correct. We haven't built the second floor because it's a financial decision. Once they were built, though, Anthony and I stay at the dorms. We stay at room number 1's our room. And so we stay there, which has helped us financially a lot. We were talking about the aquarium, and Carlos and Anthony are fish biologists, and they think about fish. So I was sitting there listening to them talking because we were getting ready to hire a contractor to break ground. And I said, well, what do you guys want the aquarium to look like? And they said, well, it's going to be an L shape. And I'm so sorry. I'm laughing. But here's what our idea is. And so they showed me their drawing, and I said, oh, okay.
Kind of looks like my fish room, just, with tanks on both sides. You walk down, let's see, where's my, walk down an aisle, and you keep on walking down aisles.
It was a maze. You came in one door, and all you did was see tanks of fish, and you were in this maze. And then if you went long enough, you would exit another door, and that would be the exit. And you were kind of like single file. You might have 2 people walk abreast, but that was it. So I said, could I draw, an example of the aquarium? And Anthony said, sure. Yeah, go ahead and do it. And we'll have the students decide in the morning. We'll all present our designs in the morning, and we'll have the students decide.
I had 2 interns here, 2 of my students that actually ended up going to graduate school where Dr. Eric Thomas, who's been on my channel, and many of you knew, in talks he's given, they actually attended and graduated from his graduate program. So they were there, and they were the judge of who was the best design.
No, So I drew a design, and in my design, we had an entrance and an exit, but we had emergency exits. We had room for people to stand. We had open raceway tanks. We had closed tanks. We had a gift shop. We had environmental walls. We had information that we could share. We had a feeding tank for kids, and so Anthony and Carlos, they present their drawing to the students, and then I came and do mine. Anthony just threw his paper aside and he said, "I just give up." So my design is the one we ended up going with. And also too, as we've worked with, the permits and everything, they've all said, oh, okay, so, oh good, you have emergency exits. People forget those. how are we gonna get out if we need to? And it's coming together really well. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that on this live stream, Anthony, you'll be able to do a walk through the aquarium as soon as the fiberglass tanks arrive and we get those installed, that we can start showing people what the aquarium looks like.
And that's the big if.
Well, let's wait and see. We're going to think
Yeah, so as many of you know, that we're kind of having difficulties getting the tanks out of Lima. So they've been in Lima since May 6th. So we're hoping someday, because we'd like to open the aquarium. Hola, Diego, ¿cómo está? So we have Diego Dominguez from Chile.
So what we did, though, and it was unfortunate that we had to do this, but our attorney for the research center, his name is Luis Huerto del Pino in Lima, and he is an environmental attorney that took us on pro bono. And he has been instrumental in the process that we had to follow to become a nonprofit tax exempt entity in Peru, which is making a big difference. And then we also had to submit applications to CONCITEC, which is the oversight agency for research, which has also been done. And Luis helped with that. So Carlos and Anthony did a conference call with Luis on Monday. He is now involved in speaking with the shipper, and lo and behold, Carlos got a call saying that they're now going to fly them in and they should be here by the end of the week. So we'll see what happens. But cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers. And there's also other problems we're having in Peru. There is a big protest going on because the road that comes out to the research center from the main road goes all the way out to the university, UNAP. And so that is unpaved. They started grading it and doing road work on it about 7 years ago, and then they just stopped and they abandoned it. And the people, all the villages along the way, including the university, has been trying to fight to get that road paved, and they haven't done it. So a couple of days ago, they had a big protest. They stopped traffic in both going into Iquitos and coming out of Iquitos. And traffic was backed up 3 or 4 miles on both sides. And when people tried to pass, they would take away the motorcycle, take away the motor taxi or the car, and they would burn it. I mean, so these people really mean business. So the Minister of Transportation in Peru flew out from Lima and talked to them and said, okay, we will start getting all the machinery and we'll bring it out tomorrow. Well, they didn't. The government didn't bring the machinery out to start the work. So tomorrow they're also having another protest. Bless you. And so they're with Renee and my student and the other young man coming out on Friday. We're not sure they can actually get here. So
we might have to stay in a hotel.
Yeah, I may have to put them up in a hotel. So
Anthony, is Rack Cross on your? I wanted to show everybody that what.
No, Rack is not on here today. Yeah, so we
is that Rack,
Rack donated this to couple 3 or 4 months ago, and we're going to put that up in our gift shop. He donated it for the research center, so that's going to go up. Renee's bringing that with her when she comes. So just get a question from Alec. Actually, a comment: would a mordida help free up the tanks? No. You know, if a mordida is a bribe for in Spanish, but primarily in Mexico. They use another term here. You know, if we have to, we'll go and, you know, we'll steal the tanks. But the problem is shipping them from Lima to Iquitos. I mean, that's, you know, it's a 10-day travel time because you go on some roads, but mostly you're on the river, you know, in 2 or 3 rivers. So it takes a while to get here to Iquitos. Our shipper, who's the problem right now, has told us that he will ship today via air cargo. We kind of doubt that because that's an awful lot of money, and we're not paying that. He's paying that. So that's the big worry now, that it won't come in. And even if it does come in, we're not going to get it tomorrow because of the strike. So there's a lot of issues that you have to contend with in developing nations with the process that they do things here in their country. And that's one thing we try to do. We try to do it the Peruvian way. You know, I have never come into any country that I worked in and say, you need to do it this way because that's the way the Americans do it. Well, that's you know, the ugly American tourists are that way. You know, I worked within the system here. We work with the people in the village that you know, that the research center is. We don't try to bully them around. You know, they're the people in the village are the people who work at the research center. So we actually try to be good neighbors and not be the ugly Americans, because, you know, I've always hated that when I've traveled around the world to see Westerners, whether it's American or other Western countries, come in and say, we do it better than you, so why don't you do it this way? You know, we would like to change some things here, sure. But it's not, you know, I never go around and say we're better than you are because we do it this way. So, you know, one of the issues that they have here is trash pickup. You know, in America, in many countries, you have trash cans. You put them out one day a week or so, and, you know, the trash people come and pick them up. Well, here, what they do is there's no really good trash pickup. Everybody just throws their trash in a pile on the side of the road. And so dogs get into them, people get into them looking for, you know, plastic bottles for recycling. And so that trash is thrown all around. And so when the trash men do come, you know, once, twice a week, they'll pick up the big stuff, but a lot of the small trash is still there. When the rain comes, that goes into the river. And that's one of the things, you know, with our environmental education process we have with Nalda and with the research center, that, you know, we're trying to show them that there can be better ways to do that. You know, the ministry here sees no problem spending money planting flowers along the highways. You know, and within 6 months, they're all trampled over, they're dead. But they just don't see beautifying the environment by having central trash pickups. You know, that I just don't understand that. But that's me. And so we do it how they do it. We don't throw our trash on the side of the road. We actually drive it about 5 miles away into a large trash bin that one of the small villages has, and we actually use that. So there are some people, some villages that do it the right way. The problem is these villages just spring up out of nowhere overnight. And so they don't have all the infrastructure for this. Even though we pay our property taxes here to have trash pickup, but there's just no trash pickup. That's just the way it is. So, anything else, young lady?
Not unless someone has questions.
Anybody have any?
Does anybody want to know anything about Anthony?
No. They've already said that when Evan gets back, he's going to tell him the real scoop on me. Evan already knows the real scoop. He's taken my classes all last year, so he's not going to learn anything new. You know,
He knows you're a grumpy guy.
Yeah, I know. I am who I am in class and outside of class. I'm not any different.
That's true.
Yes. So Matt, who's Liquid Zoo Only Fins, wants to talk about me.
Matt does.
Yeah, all the badness that I have. So Alex says there's a very good German film about getting the organ to the Iquitos Opera House in the 19th century. Yes, the Iquitos Opera House is no longer around, but some of the old buildings are still here, but not the Iquitos Opera House. So, hey, no looking at your phone, lady.
I want to make sure it's not something I have to answer.
Yeah.
Okay. It keeps buzzing, so I had to check.
Even though Renee retired as of Friday, but she still kind of
So we
consults.
had, for anyone that works in healthcare, you'll understand what Joint Commission is. It is the organization that comes in and accredits the hospital and certifies certain programs. So what I was there doing was getting the hospital ready for what's called Advanced Thrombectomy Capable Stroke Center. And this particular hospital is located in South Central Los Angeles, where there are no other hospitals that provide this service. So it's dramatically needed for the community. And we had our Joint Commission survey. We did really well last week. We also had our ribbon cutting ceremony for a new lab that we opened, has biplane imaging that allows us to do 3D reconstruction of your brain and blood vessels in your head. And so there's a lot going on, but there's a lot of, after the survey, there's a report you have to submit and some other things that you have to do. So I'm helping them wrap all that up. So we did well in the survey, but we have some steps we have to do as well. And then we work with LA County EMS.
So, she does that once a week. So even though she retired, kind of not retired.
I'm phasing out into the
Yes.
sunset.
She's phasing. So she goes in and out of phase a lot of times.
Sorry, guys.
What can I say? Okay. Anything else, everybody? We've been around for 50 minutes, so it's maybe a good time to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I want to thank Renee for visiting us today on this live stream. It's the first live stream she's actually ever been on per se, unless coming in the background over my head and saying hi to Skipper, Rico, and Chattanooga.
Those
Ed
guys I
sometimes.
know, so I wave at them.
So when I go on with them sometimes. So you read Misa's comment that you're a saint because for all you do, but especially for putting up with me.
None of the comments are showing up on my side, so I don't.
Oh, you don't have the comments? Oh, okay. Sorry, you must have the wrong.
Oh, you know what? It's because it wasn't clicked on. Oh, now I can see it. Oh, okay.
So she's a rookie.
Sorry,
so
guys. I didn't click the right thing.
Yeah.
I thought only you could see it.
No.
I gotta look for Luke's comment. Make sure he's okay.
Yeah, he was okay, babe. Don't worry about it. So yeah, Fitzcarrald. There's still a Fitzcarrald restaurant here named after Fitzcarrald, Brian Sweeney Fitzcarrald, who was he was an important person here. Was a rubber baron. That's how Iquitos started because of the rubber industry. And so yeah, he was a very important figure here. So thank you all for showing up. Sorry for those who came in late. I didn't get to say hello to you personally, but I do appreciate you all coming. You can hit the like button. I'm not one of these people who always tells you hit the like button, but I do appreciate it. It makes me feel good. For those who are in the replay crew, I want to thank you for watching this and being introduced to Renee and what she does at the research center. Again, she'll be here on Friday. I've been here for about 3 weeks all alone. So Be good
And
to have her.
trust me, guys, he's not a happy camper when he's alone. But
I'm
can I say
always,
something real quick? Since I
yes,
just now saw the comments, thank you
yes,
to everyone who said nice things about great job, Renee. Nice to meet you. It's nice. I haven't seen anybody but Anthony, but it's nice to meet you as well.
yep. And she'll come on again. So this won't be the last time Renee comes on. They're actually, well, I won't say that because that's kind of a surprise for Renee. So again, thank you all. Appreciate you coming. Do your water changes, feed your fish, and hug your
Oh,
families, and all will be good. What,
can I
Renee?
ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the water change. Sorry, you guys have to listen to this. I'm going to do the water change in all of the tanks in the garage this afternoon. Should I
Yeah.
do a third?
Yeah. Do about a third. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. But we could have talked after this, but that's
I
fine.
know, but
Okay.
there's so much going on, and I have
Okay.
all these people waiting, so I wouldn't call you
Okay.
back.
Okay. So yes, if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I was going to put subscriber mode only, but I have no idea how to do that. So I'm just as bad as Renee. I still trying to work through StreamYard and YouTube. So with that, I say thank you very much, and thank you, Matt, for putting up our website, and thank you everybody for showing up today. And sorry, Corridor Zone Aquatics. Sorry you came in late, but you can watch the replay. All will be well. So with that, I bid you a fond adios, amigos.
I do.